Welcome to this video on the recent fight last night, Ngannou versus Ferreira. Obviously, Ngannou's first fight in MMA since he left the UFC and went into boxing, facing Tyson Fury and getting a losing but very close decision where people thought he did win and losing quite decisively to AJ by knockout. So, beats Ferreira in this fight, very standard fight, to be honest. Ngannou getting Ferreira down where he's not comfortable on the ground. Ngannou's probably more comfortable on the ground. Make sure no issues are felt from Ferreira being so good on the feet. Ngannou good on the feet, but in a sense of it, did a great game plan to get him on the ground and wrestle him, where Ferreira has a lot less of an advantage, I would say. Not an advantage, but ability to be on the ground. He has shown a weakness on the ground. Ngannou took advantage straight away, went, look, I can stand up and I've got that then power in my hands, but also I know you have. So let me make sure I get this win. Very smart win from Ngannou. And really, this whole video is really about what Ngannou will do next now. He is beaten probably the top guy in the PFL. Was already the top guy in the PFL, to be honest. Beat this guy, showed that he is. And what does Ngannou do next? I think it's boxing. I think he has to go back into boxing, probably against a lower level opponent than the AJs in the top. But he could, when I'm talking on a lower level, I'm talking maybe a Wilder. I think a Wilder fight. Now AJ and Dubois has basically been confirmed as a rematch. Usyk, Dubois, Tyson Fury are all in the mixer up top. And the one person I could see wanting to fight Ngannou and being a big spectacle is Wilder versus Ngannou, and who I think will actually win that fight. I do actually think it'll be quite an incredible fight. Obviously, Wilder not having the best time of it at recent. Ngannou, I think, beat Fury, but then losing very decisively against AJ. Who do I think will win? I think Wilder's is not the boxer that an opponent would likely provide Ngannou. Wilder just has that eraser of a right hand which just stops anything. It's why he got to that level. It was just such a great clutch punch to knock someone out, not even purely in the right place. You could hit someone on the forehead and they'll go down and never get up. So an incredible punch that just erased any problems he had with getting points throughout the rounds. He could be down 5, 6, 8 rounds, and just that punch comes in, he wins the fight, and that's what happened so many times. I think putting Ngannou against someone like Wilder at the Wilder we're seeing currently, I think is a good fight for Wilder. Great fight for Ngannou. Wilder gets another payday, Ngannou gets another payday, and it does bring up the level of going, if you win this fight, it sort of shows a bit of something about you. You're still at a sort of a level, and whoever loses, they can really retire from boxing. I think there's no shame in that. I think, to be honest, I don't think there's many fights for either of them in boxing left, to be honest with you. I think Wilder is pretty much nearer retirement than anything else. Ngannou, I think he's not going to reach that high level in boxing. I think he does incredibly well in MMA, and better to go into MMA, but look, there's not much competition for him in the PFL that people want to see. I think he gets a great payday from a Wilder fight. Who do I think who wins in a Ngannou Wilder fight? The test of the great power punches. I think Ngannou wins. To be honest with you, I think Ngannou wins. I think Ngannou has a problem with true fundamental boxers. I think he has a major problem with fundamental boxers. Wilder isn't a fundamental boxer. He's just really got that eraser of a right hand. And look, Ngannou could at least get points on the board over Wilder quite easily in rounds. And I think actually Ngannou could actually touch him with some stuff that we saw like against Fury. and knock him down. I don't think that's impossible. I think it'll be a great fight. I think it sells very well. I think I'm up for watching it, definitely. And I think it's a great move for both fighters. It really gives them a great payday no matter what. And if they win or lose, that great payday's, a big thing for them to at that side of their career. Wilder's looking at the end of his career, and Ngannou's sort of looking at the end of his career, to be honest with you. I know he's only just started in boxing, but he's at, I think he's near 40. There's not a massive amount of time for either of these guys to get up the division. I think they're looking for big paydays now. I think they're looking for big fights only. And if there isn't that big fight, I don't think they will fight. So Ngannou hasn't got much with the PFL to fight for in MMA. I don't think there's many title challenges. I think if he was in UFC, there's a lot of fights for him that could make a good amount of money for him. But I think in the PFL and how he's structured it and how he's went from the UFC, I think the big thing is for him to get that Wilder fight, get in that boxing ring again, and show what he can do against a Wilder. And look, I think Ngannou wins, and if he does, I think there's a great plan for him to go against a Zhang. I think there's the big fight there. I think there's many other fights at that level just above Wilder. Probably not a bit above Wilder, but just above. You know what I mean? The people who've just beat Wilder, your Parkers, your Zhangs, and Ngannou will bring a lovely payday for any of them. And look, Riyadh season want to probably make it. It's a big star for them, a big star to get other people watching their boxing, which is incredible for them. I think you can do boxer versus boxer, but to bring new fans in, I think bringing an MMA star in who is as big as Ngannou is and has the ability of Ngannou. He's a big guy. He can box, at a decent level. He showed that against Ferreira. He's not an absolute muppet in the ring. He's got sort of the fundamentals. Yeah, he's not going to be that top level champion, but again, he's not at a terrible level. The physical attributes lend itself to being he's a good fighter. Incredible fighter he is. So, he can do the fundamentals enough where I think he does beat a Wilder at this point of his career. I think, give it 4 years ago, I think Wilder wins. But look, here and now, I think Ngannou wins. I think he's got a good chance, and I think he's been training, and I suspect he's ready for a boxing fight again. I think after Ferreira, he went back. That's a big fight for him to fight him in MMA to show he's the best in the PFL. And I think the PFL gives him the option to go back and forth with boxing and MMA. I think currently boxing will give him a payday where I don't think there's a matchup in the PFL for Ngannou. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think a great fight between him and Wilder would be amazing. Please let me know what you think, who he should fight next. If you think the Wilder and Ngannou fight will come off, and who will win that if it does. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.